What's up, fellow Saiyans? Well, we got an exciting video today. I'm going to do a review and unboxing and showing off of my arcade cabinet, the official Saiyan Elite Arcade Cabinet. I got it from Game Room Solutions. It's their level up 3/4 scale arcade, so it's on the smaller side, sort of like the arcade one-ups, except for it's wider. It's bigger. It's wider than the arcade one-ups. Not much taller, but like the extra arm space is nice to have. So I'm going to show you like the actual like process, like going to the website and everything. Let's head over there. Alright, so you go to GameRoomSolutions.com is the company that does this. You go to store CNC cabinet kits. So it's basically like, you know, they send you the stuff, you just got to build it, almost like IKEA furniture. Right here is the level up 3/4 scale to fit a 22-inch monitor, which doesn't come with it. You got to get that separately. Starts at $329. Now, like what I did for the way mine's set up, I got the black option for the actual cabinet color itself. They got a lot of good examples, like this. Someone made a Mortal Kombat one, like, you know what I mean. You could see everything here, but it's always generally like the same setup for the controls. Kick plate, you could have them pre-cut it for a coin door, which I did, but I don't have a coin door yet, so I just have the regular, like it just looks like that, but it's cut in the back for whenever I want to do it. T-molding, I went with the chrome. I think it makes it, especially if you get like LED strips for the back or something like that, any light that hits it, it reflects off, so it kind of looks cool on the sides. The graphics wrap pre-installed is what I did. They send you after you place your order, you'll get an email and it'll have like the Photoshop files or the templates to do your artwork on. And I spent a good amount of time in the artwork of these. And you send it back to them, and then, you know, whenever they get to complete everything, they wrap the cabinet with it. It's vinyl, and it really looks good. It really does. Alright, the control kit, I went with a Sanwa. I just went with the most expensive ones, and they feel great. Like, I mean, I have no complaints on the controls whatsoever. The Guts Mega Package, this is like if you really don't want to really mess around too much with stuff. Like, they give you a Raspberry Pi. They pretty much have everything. Speakers, LED strip for the marquee, the amp. Like, they give you pretty much everything you really need to get started. But I'm using a Odroid XU4, and it's a little more powerful than a Raspberry Pi. But it's not as like the community's not as big as you know, RetroPie is. But the Odroid actually does have a community called the Odroid Retro Arena, which they do a lot of work with it, and it kind of keeps it like up in line with RetroPie. But I mean, you have more options with a XU4. But I didn't need the Guts package because what I did was I already had the XU4 before this, and I had some other things that I could use in it. So like I just went through after I ordered it or put it on the cart. I went through they have like actual arcade products you could buy. You could also buy a riser if you want. I didn't get a riser yet. So right now you're at $549, so I didn't mean to do that. I didn't realize. There we go. Here's what my total cart looked like. So I had the cabinet. I got a power cord. I got a 4-inch speaker set. The switch socket. That's for the power cord to plug into. You have to like wire the switch socket yourself. Like there's videos and tutorials to do it on YouTube. I bought a couple of PCB feet, which I only got 2, so I don't know. It shows 4 in the picture, but I only ended up with 2, but they're 35 cents, so I didn't really give a shit. Amplifier, dual USB extender for the front of the cabinet. It adds 2 USB ports, so you know, 2 other people are watching you play and they want to join in too, because it's a 2-player controller, but say you have other people there and they want to get in on a 4-person game, they can plug in 2 controllers and play that way. Or it's like for your keyboard and stuff like that, it puts it out the front so you don't have to go in the back of the cabinet. And then I got these bat tops. They just screw right onto instead of having the regular ball. And the grand total of everything was $611. So the only thing I was really missing at this point was the monitor itself. So here's the overview. It has a solid build quality. I mean, the MDF's nice and heavy and thick. You can see the LED the strip behind the marquee right there lighting it up. The graphics all shown up pretty clear and like not really blurry at all. It looks really good. The overall size of this, it's about 22 3/4 inches in length, like side to side, about 49 inches high, and 23 inches wide, like coming from the wall out to you. The controller itself is 22 inches in length, 28 inches in length, which gives you like a lot of extra arm room, and it's by 10 3/4 wide. But this, I mean, it looks great. It really does. Alright, so one thing about this, before you jump into it, is it doesn't come with any instructions. So you basically get a piece of paper, and it's kind of up to you to just hope for the best. Like you can go on their website, but really there's nothing. Like it's basically pretty straightforward. You put cam lock pegs in, and then the cam locks go in. You twist it like on each side. You put it together. It's like IKEA furniture. I mean, it's not that bad. I do have to admit though, when it comes to the controller, like the control deck, wiring the buttons, the sheet they gave me didn't really give me the right pins. I had to keep searching it, looking up videos on how to do it. Everyone kind of has a different video or a different set, so you just gotta figure it out. I had trouble. One thing I'd also like to point out is, like, it all comes in one big box, so with all that heavy MDF, there's a chance of stuff getting damaged. Like, my amplifier was smashed when I first got it, and so was my Zenmo board that all the wiring plugs into for the controller. But I sent them an email about it. They sent stuff right back in, or like a couple days later, 2, 3, maybe 3 days tops. I had a new everything. So, some of the damage happened, like some of the grooves where the T-molding goes in, like from during transit, like you could see right here in the middle of the screen, like right there. You can see like that, how it bubbles a little bit. It kind of affects like the T-molding, but it's not that big of a deal because it's a spot here, there, and I mean, what are you gonna do? That could happen. What, are they gonna send me a whole new cabinet or a whole new part for like that one part? I mean, it all looks alright after you get the T-molding on. Like I said, I did end up going with a Scepter monitor from Walmart.com, a 22-inch. I mean, I think it was like $100, but it really, it does the job. I mean, it's HD. It's everything I need it for. But it was definitely a big learning experience setting this thing up. But I mean, it was well worth it. My kids get a kick out of this. I mean, I've always wanted an arcade cabinet since I was a little kid, so this is like a dream come true to have it in your house at all times to play whatever, especially to stream on. That's pretty cool. What else? I really like how you can see how I'm installing the T-molding on right now, the chrome. Oh, you were. Alright. But yeah, sorry about the video, folks. I'm not the best with this. It's my first like actual attempt, but I really like the chrome. I think the chrome is definitely the best option. Like I was debating on getting like a purple because I got like a purplish tint to everything else, but I really like the chrome. And like I said, it's like a little over, like almost 5 foot. No, sorry. Almost a little over 4 foot. Like it's short, but I mean when you're sitting down, it's not bad. And like I've also found that those storage ottomans they sell everywhere that like you could lift up and put stuff in, those are like the perfect seating height for this. And it's wide enough to fit 2 people, so it's great. I mean it works out. I am using a port of Odroid Retro Arena on my XU4. It's basically like almost like a clone of RetroPie, but with like optimizations, obviously, for the Odroid. Okay, so here we have the front of the cab. As you can see here, I got the marquee. I have a strip of LED lights behind it, wrapped in, like going across the bottom and up to light it up, so you can see the Saiyan Elite all lit up. I have a bezel going around. I designed that bezel that goes around the whole screen right there that says arcade and has like the retro grid look. And there's like I found like a template for like a bunch of Nintendo characters and stuff like it. I thought it was pretty cool because there's that big space right there and it like was perfect. It was a perfect fit. And it got a bunch of retro characters on it. And it just fit the whole cab. And like you could tell the monitor. I mean, granted that game's older, but it's a decent monitor. Here is the control deck. I have player 1 and player 2 start buttons, but you can see the player 1 right there is completely rubbed off, like the little black eye. You get to pick out your colors for all your buttons, which is cool. One thing I'd like to say about this, though, is with this plexiglass, you can see the reflection. It makes the joysticks further down. They're a little nubby, but I bought extenders for them that raise them up a little bit. And right here, the edges of the plexiglass are kind of sharp. So I put electrical tape. Granted, it's kind of a shoddy job, but these corners, it helps a little bit. So like if you walk by and scrape it, like my kids are always running past it, so like they'll scrape their arms off it. It helps. It helps a little bit. So here we have the front panel, and I went with like, you know, that retro sun with the mountains, or grid mountains, whatever the fuck you want to call them. Right here is my dual USB extender, which you could plug 2 controllers in or your keyboard in, whatever you need right there. It gives it easy access from the front of the cab. Here we're lifting up the control panel. You can see the wiring. It's rough trying to figure that out. I'm glad I got it situated. But right here is the Odroid XU4 I was talking about, and this case for it I think is like a C4 Interceptor case. But it's like a small single-arm computer, and it runs everything great. At least up to like Dreamcast level. It runs Sega Saturn and stuff like that. This little lit-up piece right here is the Zenmo board. That's what all the wiring goes into, and you got to know exactly like what ports are for what. This is a keyboard I usually use right there, and this little Allen key with a Phillips head at the bottom has been clutch for this cabinet because there's so many tight, hard-to-reach spaces that you got to tighten screws and cam locks on. It's really hard to get, and that was like perfect. You go a little further down, this is the front of the cab. Like I just kind of put like all the systems on the front. I was kind of running out of ideas on what to do, so I just kind of threw all the systems with my little guy there. And I think it looks really nice. Like I'm really like the graphics look sharp. I really like it. Okay, so here we have the right panel of the cabinet. I went with like a box art mixed with flyers for the arcade cabinets in the background, and then with the sprites of the games that are advertising like on the box themselves over top to give it like a 3D look. Like you can see, like there's Samus up top here. You got like the box art, so you got the Splatterhouse guy, Mario from like Super Mario World, Pac-Man and the Ghost. Like over by the Streets of Rage, you got Axel in the corner. You know, Spider-Man. It's like got the Marvel vs. Capcom and stuff. Altered Beast was one. For some reason, I didn't put one on there. I don't know why, but it got like a cloud. I have Reaper on there from Overwatch, but I just did that because I love Overwatch as a game. It's one of my favorite games, and I had to throw them on. Like Pikachu and Captain Falcon. Right about here is a little Goku. It's kind of hard to see him. There we go. Turtles in Time. It's one of my favorites. That's why it's like one of the biggest ones. Like my favorite ones are all one of the bigger ones. The X-Men for the Genesis. Dig Dug. Space Invaders. Mortal Kombat. I'd throw X-Men Mutant Academy too because I love that game. Earthworm Jim. Golden Axe. See what we got up top there. We got Link from Zelda. The Marine from Doom. Crazy Taxi. Metal Slug. Donkey Kong Country 3. Qbert. Then I got like, you know, like the guy on the side of the cab. I threw the retro mark or logo because that's what I use for everything. That's the right side. And on to the left side of the cabinet, you got Bomberman in the corner. You can see Kirby, Tracer, Cruising USA, Crash Bandicoot. Little Mac was up at the top there. Donkey Kong. You got Sonic in the corner. X-Men. You got Nightcrawler right there. The 1943 plane. Wario. Zombies Ate My Neighbors. One of my favorite games of all time for the Super Nintendo. Castlevania Bloodlines. Galaga. Street Fighter 2. You got Ryu right there. The Contra guy. You can see Jin from Tekken. Mega Man X. You got Mario from the original Mario Bros. You got the Punisher right there at the bottom. The Comic Zone got Double Dragon guys. Like I said, Mega Man. And then like the same thing repeated on the other side. You got like the RetroArch logo and the TV underneath. That's the left. Okay, so here we got the back. You can see I got that LED strip right there. It projects like the colors on the wall. It looks pretty cool. Down here where the handle is, I use some electrical tape around the corners just so it's not as rough or sharp when you grab it. Down at the bottom you can see there's slots for cables to come out, and right down at the bottom here, that's a switch socket that I had to wire. There's a bunch of tutorials on how to do that on YouTube and stuff, so I mean it's relatively pretty easy. On the inside, if you look up here, you can see the LED strip going up. That's what's behind my marquee. Right up here is the amplifier and the two speakers. However, unfortunately, the speakers started going bad on me whenever I used them, and I mean I just didn't really care about it because I have a Bluetooth speaker I'm going to use instead, and it sounds great with a Bluetooth speaker in it. So that wasn't really that big of a deal. Right here, you can see this hack job I had to do to the mount for this monitor. Down below, this is where like the Odroid wires and everything come out into the main cab. In the background there, you can see the cutout for the coin door I was mentioning before, how it's like open right there. I got a surge protector down. It's a bird's nest of cables. I still gotta like zip tie these, but there's my Bluetooth speaker, and I have it turned away from the cab, which is kind of cool in a way because it echoes off the back, and like it sounds pretty cool. It sounds like being in an old, like, I don't know, pizzeria or something. So you could kind of get a view of the hinges on the door. It holds the door pretty well. And there's like a clip when you push the door in, it like locks it in place. And you can see how I wrapped the LED strips on that. That's the back. Okay, so this is the initial startup video. I'm gonna go over and power it on. But a couple things I wanted to talk about. The image that this is like one of the Elliot's images on arcadepunks.com. They got a lot of really cool images for all kind of emulation stuff. It's basically like built on top of the Odroid Retro Arena, but it was brought with up a lot of like hacks, ROM hacks, and computer game stuff I didn't really want for this, but it was a nice setup and updated, so I just kind of deleted the stuff that was on there and put my own stuff on. This video, I believe it's called Epic Inc., is like the startup video for it, which I think it's pretty cool because it takes, you know, games from the best of all the games. if you can even see, it says RetroPie, so it was like the video was clearly for RetroPie, but they use it for this. I like it. It don't matter to me, because I mean, as you can see right here, it's using Emulation Station, but it's the same. But you can see it's developed by the Retro Arena. Like I said, like the Elliot image is like this person's version of they take the Odroid Retro Arena base and then add on to it. But I changed the original theme too. I think this is one of Hersty's themes. I can't remember what the actual name is. I probably should have looked that up, but oh well. Okay, so here's a quick menu cycle of all the systems and the games. This includes ROM hacks. Arcade, I have 2,187 arcade games. 664 Atari 2600, 81 5200 games, 58 7800 games, 36 Sammy Thomas Wave games, 116 ColecoVision games, 41 Dreamcast games, 332 Game Gear games, 425 Game Boy games, 1,057 Game Boy Advance games, 483 Game Boy Color games, 1,000 Genesis games, 263 Master System games, 303 Nintendo 64. Sega Naomi has 47. For Neo Geo, we have 136 games. Nintendo, 922. Open Bore System, 102. Ports, 18. PSP, I have 40 games. PlayStation 1, 95. These are just like the menu, like the options. There's a lot of different options. They got a cool jukebox feature that lets you play background music at the menu. You could add your own tracks. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of configs that you could do with this. And you could read. So next is Nintendo Satellaview. I got 67. Sega Saturn 13. Sega 32X, 34. Sega CD had 25. SNES 967. SNES CD 54. TurboGrafx 16, 92. And Virtual Boy has 24. Sorry. Now here are your collections tab. I had to go through and make these, but you can see I got like the Williams Classics, Atari Classics, Band Press. These are like all arcade groups of arcade games for like by developer. You can see like how it goes into the actual games themselves when you get into the menu. But I also have like a Batman collection where it's all the Batman games on the entire cab. Like the classics are usually arcade based. The CPS ones are like the Capcom actual arcade board. Like that's the difference between the classics and the collections. Like the classics are all like the arcade games. Collection could be from anything. Every like Dragon Ball Z, any Dragon Ball Z game on the arcade cabinet. I had to go through and like actually select them. They make it pretty easy with Emulation Station. But you can see I got a Mario collection, Mega Man, Midway Classics, Mortal Kombat, Namco, Nintendo, Sega, the Sonic collection, Street Fighters down there, Taito Classics, wrestling collection, like all kind of wrestling games. I still have so many more I can make. Like I know there's like I can do fighting, I can do boxing games. You know, there's tons. Sports. I don't have a sports one on there yet. All games shows everything. I think it's 9,707 total. And then the favorites tab, you could set stuff to your favorites, but it's a decent amount of games. Alright, so that's going to do it for my arcade review of everything. I'm really satisfied with this product. I think Game Room Solutions does a good job. And, I mean, it looks awesome. If you want, please like. You can subscribe to me on here. If not, or don't. I don't really give a shit either way. Follow me on Twitch, on Facebook. I got pages on them all. Later, Saiyans.